Be me. 38 years old, licensed therapist with private practice for 7 years now. Specialize in women's issues and feminist therapy approaches to mental health. Have about 25 regular clients, mostly women dealing with relationship issues. Feel like my work helps women see the truth about their situations? When clients come to me, they usually have problems in their relationships. Complaints about boyfriends or husbands not doing enough or being distant. Or I listen to their stories and help them understand the root causes, which is almost always the patriarchy and how men are socialized poorly. One client comes in saying her husband does not help with housework enough. Listen to her describe how she does most of the cleaning and cooking. Ask her if she has talked to him about dividing the labor more. She says yes, but he forgets or does it wrong, so she redos. Tell her this is classic case of weaponized incompetence from men here. He is pretending to be bad at chores, so she will do them. She says she never thought of it that way, but it makes sense. Tell her she needs to stop enabling his learned helplessness and demand better. Another client talks about how her boyfriend works long hours at a demanding job. She feels lonely because he is always tired when he gets home. Ask her if he makes time for her emotional needs despite being tired. She says he tries, but sometimes he just wants to decompress alone. Tell her that is him prioritizing his comfort over her emotional needs clearly. In healthy relationship, he should be present for her, regardless of work. She says she does not want to be demanding when he is exhausted. Tell her asking for basic emotional presence is not demanding. It is minimum. Have client whose husband wants to go on guys' trip with friends. She feels uncomfortable with him going away for a whole weekend without her. Ask her why she thinks he needs to get away from her specifically. She says he just wants time with his friends like old. Tell her men use these trips to escape accountability and responsibility at home. They want to pretend they are single and not think about partners. She says she does not think he would cheat or anything like that. Tell her it is not about cheating. It is about him prioritizing friends over. Another client mentions her boyfriend forgot her birthday last week and feels hurt. She says he apologized and felt terrible and made it up to her. Ask her if this is a pattern of him not prioritizing her needs. She says no. He is usually very attentive. This was just one time. Tell her one time is enough to show where his priorities really are. If he truly valued her, he would not forget something so important ever. She says everyone makes mistakes, and he genuinely felt bad about it. Tell her his guilt does not erase the harm he caused by forgetting. Start noticing that most of my advice to clients is pretty similar, because most of their problems stem from same root cause, which is men. Men are socialized to prioritize themselves, and women are socialized to accept it. My job is to help women see this pattern and stop accepting less. Client talks about how her husband makes more money, so he thinks his. Tell her before she even finishes that this is financial abuse and control. She looks surprised and says she was just going to say he thinks. Tell her financial imbalance creates power, imbalance that is inherently problematic in relationships. She says, but he does not lord it over her or anything controlling. Tell her the imbalance itself is the problem, regardless of his individual behavior. She says they are happy with the arrangement. She works part-time. Tell her that is internalized oppression, making her accept less than she deserves. Another client comes in upset because her boyfriend did not want to attend an event with her family because he had work things same day. Ask her if he often prioritizes his career over her family obligations. She says no. He comes to everything. This was just scheduling conflict. Tell her men always find excuses when they do not want to do. If he truly cared about her, he would rearrange his work schedule. She says it was important work thing. He could not reschedule at all. Tell her there is always a way if someone wants it bad enough. Have client who is engaged and planning wedding with her fiancé currently here. She is stressed because they disagree on how many people to invite. He wants small wedding, and she wants big celebration with everyone she knows. Ask her why he wants to limit her joy on her special day. She says he is just uncomfortable with big crowds and gets anxious easily. Tell her this is about control. He wants to dictate how she celebrates. She says no. He has social anxiety. This is not about controlling her. Tell her anxiety can be an excuse men used to limit women's experiences. Another client talks about how her husband wants her to consider his feelings before making big decisions that affect both of them equally. Here, she says he got upset when she made a purchase without discussing first with him. Ask her if he tries to control how she spends her own money. She says it was joint account money and it was expensive purchase made. Tell her he is trying to control her financial autonomy and independence clearly. She says she sees his point that they should discuss big purchases together. Tell her needing his permission is not partnership. It is patriarchal control structure. Start using same language and frameworks with most of my clients now because the problems are all the same, just different details and specifics. Men trying to control women or prioritize themselves or avoid emotional labor. My job is to help women see these patterns clearly and respond. A client comes in crying because she had a big fight with her boyfriend. He said she does not appreciate all the things he does for a relationship. She feels guilty because maybe he is right. She focuses on negatives. Ask her what things he does that he wants appreciation for. She lists cooking dinner a few times a week and doing dishes and taking out trash. Tell her those are basic adult responsibilities, not things deserving special praise. She says she knows, but he does do them without being asked. Tell her he should not need to be asked to be a functional adult. Another client mentions her husband got upset when she went through his phone. She found messages with female coworker that seemed too friendly to her comfort. He said she violated his privacy and trust by going through phone. Ask her what he is hiding that he is so defensive about privacy. She says maybe nothing. She feels bad for snooping on him like that. Tell her if he had nothing to hide, he would not be so angry. She says he has right to privacy, even in relationship, though. Tell her privacy in relationship is often excuse for hiding bad behavior. Have client whose boyfriend does not want her posting couple photos on social media. He says he prefers to keep relationship private from social media public. She feels like he is hiding her or ashamed of their relationship. Ask her why he does not want people knowing he is with her. She says he is just a private person in general, does not post much. Tell her men who hide their relationships are keeping options open for others. She says she does not think he would cheat. He is a loyal person. Tell her you do not know that for sure if he hides relationship. Another client talks about how her fiancé wants prenup before they get married. She feels hurt, like he is already planning for divorce before wedding. He says it is just practical to protect both of them financially going forward. Ask her why he needs protection from her if he trusts her completely. She says he says it is not about trust, it is about being smart. Tell her prenups are about men protecting their assets from women taking them. She says, but it protects both of them equally in the agreement terms. Tell her in patriarchal society, there is no such thing as equal protection. Start having same conversations with different clients week after week, here, consistently. The details change, but the core message is always the same for them. Men are the problem, and women need to recognize that and act. My therapy helps women see what they have been conditioned to ignore. Client comes in devastated because she is considering leaving her husband of years. They have been together 10 years and have 2 kids together currently. She says he is a good father and provider, but she feels unfulfilled emotionally. Ask her what he does to fulfill her emotional needs on a daily basis. She lists some things he does, but says it does not feel like enough. Tell her she deserves to feel fulfilled and valued in her relationship always. She says she worries about kids and finances if they separate from marriage. Tell her staying for kids teaches them to accept unhealthy relationship dynamics. Another client talks about how her boyfriend wants to move for job opportunity. It is a great career move for him, but she would have to leave everything behind. Ask her if he considered her career and life before making this decision. She says yes. They talked about it, and he said she could find work there. Tell her he is expecting her to sacrifice her life for his career advancement. She says it is good opportunity, and she could probably find work there. Tell her probably is not good enough. She deserves certainty, not maybe outcomes. She says relationships are about compromise. Sometimes one person has to give. Tell her compromise is just another word for women sacrificing for men always. She looks uncomfortable and says that seems extreme interpretation of the situation here. Tell her extreme situations require extreme clarity about what is really happening. She says she will think about what I said, but seems uncertain. Have client who casually mentions her husband surprised her with romantic weekend. She seems happy about it and says it was really nice gesture. Ask her if he did this because he feels guilty about something. She looks confused and says no, he just wanted to do something nice. Tell her men do not usually do romantic gestures without ulterior motives behind. She says he does nice things all the time. He is a thoughtful person. Tell her, or he is love-bombing her to keep her compliant and grateful. She says that seems really cynical way to interpret nice gesture from partner. Tell her I am just helping her see possibilities she might be missing clearly. She says she does not think everything needs to be analyzed that deeply. Tell her that is exactly what men want women to think, so they stop. She leaves, seeming less happy than when she came in today. Months go by, and I continue seeing my regular clients for weekly sessions. Notice some of them seem more depressed and anxious than when they started. Figure this is them finally waking up to reality of their situations, and the truth is painful but necessary for growth and change to happen. One day I get a call from client saying she will not be continuing. Ask her why, and she says she talked to some other people who were also in therapy. She tells me she met another woman at coffee shop and they started talking. Turns out the woman is also my client, and they compared therapy experiences. Feel my stomach drop hearing that two of my clients met and talked. Ask her what they talked about, and she says their relationships and my advice. She says they realized I had told both of them exact same things, even though their situations were completely different from each other in details. Tell her that is because the underlying dynamics are the same in most cases. She cuts me off and says no, her husband is nothing like what I described. Says I told her husband was controlling when he is actually supportive, and says I told her to leave him when her real issue was anxiety. Tell her sometimes anxiety is caused by being in wrong relationship with wrong person. She says no. Her anxiety existed before relationship and has nothing to do with him. Says after talking to other client, she realizes I was projecting feminist ideology onto everyone, regardless of their individual situations. She says she is going to find new therapist who actually listens. She hangs up, leaving me feeling defensive, but also worried about what she will say to others. A few days later, another client cancels, saying she also talked to someone else. Says she heard from friend that I give everyone same advice regardless of their specific situation. Says friend saw me for a few sessions and got told to leave boyfriend. Tells me she compared notes with several other women who see me. They all have completely different relationship problems and different partners with different issues, but I apparently told all of them their partners were controlling or abusive. Says some of them left good relationships because of my advice given wrongly. Tell her I help women see patterns they miss because of socialization they received. She says no, I project my own beliefs onto everyone, regardless of actual situation. Says she talked to 5 different women and they all got identical advice. Says I told all of them to leave their partners for same reasons. Feel panic rising as I realize multiple clients are talking to each other. Ask her how they all found each other and started comparing notes. She says one woman made a post in local women's group about her therapist. Did not name me, but described the advice, and others recognized the pattern. Other women commented saying their therapist said exact same things to them too. They figured out they all see me and decided to compare notes carefully. Created group chat where they shared specific things I said to each one. Realized I was giving cookie-cutter feminist advice to everyone without individualizing care. Tell her I was helping them all see patriarchal patterns in their relationships. She says some of them were not in patriarchal relationships. They were healthy. Says one woman left her supportive partner because I convinced her he was controlling. Now she is alone and miserable and realizes she made huge mistake listening to me. Another woman was told her fiancé wanting prenup meant he did not trust her. She called off engagement and lost someone who loved her because of what I said. Says they are all really angry and feel like I abused my position as therapist. Tell her I never abused anything. I was helping them see truth clearly. She says my version of truth, not the actual truth of their situations. Says good therapist would individualize treatment, not give everyone same script regardless of circumstances. Says they are all reporting me to licensing board for malpractice and harm. Feel my heart racing hearing that they are reporting me officially to board. Ask her, please do not do that. I was trying to help everyone. She says I was not trying to help. I was pushing my ideology. Says I lost sight of actual therapy and just used sessions to promote my beliefs. Says multiple women's lives have been damaged because of my one-size approach. She hangs up and I immediately start going through my notes from sessions with clients. Realize I was saying very similar things to almost everyone I saw. Same language, same frameworks, same conclusions, regardless of their actual situations presented. Never even considered that maybe some of their partners were actually good people. Get official letter from licensing board few weeks later about investigation into my practice. Multiple clients have filed complaints alleging I pushed personal ideology instead of providing appropriate therapeutic care. They say I gave inappropriate advice that led to harm for several people. They are opening formal investigation into my practice and therapeutic methods used. Have to hire a lawyer to defend myself against the complaints filed collectively. Lawyer reviews my case notes and says I have serious problem with documentation. My notes do not reflect individualized treatment plans for each client seen here. They all basically say same things about patriarchy and leaving partners repeatedly. Tells me this looks very bad for me professionally, and I could lose my license. Asks if I really told everyone to leave their partners, regardless of their situations. Tell him I was helping them see patterns of oppression in their relationships. He says unless there was abuse, I should not be telling people to leave. Says several clients have evidence their partners were not abusive or controlling. Says I labeled normal relationship friction as abuse, which is malpractice and harmful. One client left supportive husband and now has custody issues because of my advice. Another broke off healthy engagement and has had mental health crisis since then. Licensing board holds hearing where several former clients testify against me publicly. They describe how I told them all the same things without listening to their specific circumstances. One woman says I convinced her loving husband was controlling because he wanted her to discuss major purchases. Says she left him and deeply regrets it now because I was wrong. Another says I told her boyfriend was love bombing when he did romantic gestures. Says she broke up with him based on my advice and he was genuinely caring. Says she realizes now I saw everything through feminist lens without seeing reality. Another says I told her fiancé was financially abusive for wanting joint account. Says they were planning future together and joint finances made sense for them, but I convinced her it was about control and she called off wedding. Says she has been depressed ever since and blames me for ruining her relationship. Board members look at me with disapproval as they hear testimony after testimony. Moyer tries to defend me, saying I was using feminist therapeutic framework, which board says does not mean ignoring individual client needs and situations. Says good therapy meets clients where they are, not forces them into ideology. Says multiple clients reporting same experience shows pattern of imposing beliefs, not helping. Board suspends my license pending further review and mandatory retraining if allowed back. Have to close my practice and refer all remaining clients to other therapists. Word spreads quickly in community about what happened and why I lost my license. Other therapists refuse to refer clients to me because of what I did. Sit at home without practice anymore, thinking about all the relationships I destroyed. Thought I was helping women see truth about patriarchy in their lives clearly. Never considered that maybe some of them were in healthy relationships, that my ideology blinded me to reality of their individual situations and needs. Talked to my own therapist about what happened, and she asked me questions like, why did I assume every man was controlling or abusive without evidence? Why did I give same advice to everyone, regardless of their unique situations? Why did I prioritize ideology over actual therapeutic care for my clients' needs? Tell her I thought I was helping them see what they could not. She says helping means listening and individualizing, not imposing your worldview on everyone. Says I was not doing therapy. I was indoctrinating clients into my beliefs. Sit with that uncomfortable truth and realize she is completely right about everything. Months later, I am working at a coffee shop because I cannot practice therapy anymore. See one of my former clients come in, and she looks happy and healthy. She is with a man who I assume is her partner based on body language. Realize this is the boyfriend I told her to leave because he was controlling. She sees me, and her face changes to anger and disgust at the sight. Walks over and tells me she got back together with him after leaving. Says she realized I was wrong about everything and he is a wonderful partner. Says she wasted 6 months apart because of my terrible advice given wrongly. Tells me other women from the group are all doing better without me. Some got back with partners I told them to leave and are happy now. Others found new therapists who actually listen instead of just pushing agenda. Says they all agree I did more harm than good to everyone. She walks away, and I sit there feeling ashamed of what I did. I thought I was helping women by showing them patriarchal patterns in relationships. Never considered that not every relationship problem is caused by patriarchy and men. My feminist ideology became a weapon I used to destroy healthy relationships repeatedly. Sometimes being feminist therapist does not mean seeing patriarchy in every situation presented. Sometimes giving everyone same advice means you are not actually doing real therapy. Sometimes clients comparing notes reveals you were projecting, not helping them heal properly. And sometimes you freak out when they discover you told them all the same thing.